Welcome into the DNVR Rockies Podcast, and welcome into the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. I'm your host, Suzie Hunter. I've got Yaya with me. Hello, Yaya. Yeah. Go Birds. Guys, we're heading down to the farm today because we have a very special minor league episode where we're going to check in with all of the Rockies farm teams, and we're going to talk to someone from every organization. A lot of broadcasters, honestly. One GM. Ooh, so sneaky. Stay tuned. But we are actually going to start off in California with the Fresno Grizzlies. Here we go. Joining the pod now, we have Steven Rice, the voice of the Fresno Grizzlies. But Steven, how are you doing out there?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. It's great to be a part of you guys.
Oh my gosh, we're happy to chat with you, happy to catch up. You guys just wrapped up the first half and, so close to, clinching that, first place spot, but just a little short. How do you feel after that first half of the season?
You know what? It's very sad that we didn't win the first half, but this team has exceeded expectations compared to a lot of teams in the league. Among all the teams, we had the least amount of top 30 prospects on our team, but somehow these guys have continued to dominate from our hitters who have exceeded their expectations at the plate to our pitchers who have completely dominated the rest of the California League, and our defense, the best in the league in terms of fielding percentage. I am very impressed with the first half, but of course, now there's a chip on our shoulder here in the second half, and we want to win a championship here in Fresno.
I know. Oh my gosh, are you feeling, or Modesto, are they your rivals now?
I mean, we consider any team in the California League North a rival, but of course, having Modesto being a team that won last year in the California League and of course winning the first half, they're becoming more and more of a rival every time. But of course, you can't go away from San Jose or of course the team up the road in Visalia.
I love that mindset. Everyone's the rival. Everyone is. I want to talk about some of the guys you have there because you do have some fun players that we're watching. I want to talk about Hammer, who's had the best ERA on this team in the first half. Also fantastic pitcher name, by the way.
Bryson Hammer is outstanding. Dallas Baptist product. He's a guy who's come in and has really helped out this bullpen. We've had a plethora of lefties this year. At the beginning of the season, we had more lefty arms and righty in the bullpen, and Hammer's kind of been one of the big bright spots for our team. Not only has he locked down important roles as picking up 4 saves on the year, he also has a couple holds to go along with it. Hammer's been a guy that we know he's going to throw up zeros every time he pitches. 21 of his 23 games, he's allowed 0 earned runs. And on top of it, too, of course, the great name, when you have a good curveball, continuing striking out guys, it makes things easy to call as a broadcaster.
Wait, you're saying you guys got lefties down there?
Oh, tons of lefties. We're ready to help you guys out at the big league level.
We are so down on lefties right now. It's not even funny. So that's great to hear. But you guys have, it sounds like you have a lot of pieces down there that have a lot of potential to help the Rockies out in some years to come.
Absolutely. And it starts with number 19 overall prospect in right-hander Jack Mahoney. Mahoney actually just finished up a complete game shutout just the other day against the Stockton Ports. It was the first complete game shutout in all of minor league baseball in 2024. And it's just a piece of what Mahoney's been able to accomplish this season. The guy has been able to dominate with just throwing strikes. Maybe not a lot of strikeouts, but he doesn't walk a lot of batters, gets ahead in counts, and continues to find ways to get hitters out, whether it's weak ground balls or easy pop-ups. Mahoney's been a great piece for the team overall. The South Carolina product is someone that can help out the Rockies in a couple years, not only maybe in a rotation setup, but also a guy who can get you a lot of innings. He's someone that has continued to throw 6-7 innings on a nightly basis for us, and we're happy to have him part of our team.
I love that. What's the elevation in Fresno?
It's not compared to what Coors Field in Denver has when it comes down to it. But we always say start from the valley floor and help to get to the mountaintop. That's something that we're a big part of here in California. And, a lot of these pitchers are continuing to show great promise. And in a couple of years, they're going to be able to help out Coors Field and the Colorado Rockies.
I'm sorry, did you say Growlifornia? Is that what I heard?
California. Yes, that is everything here in Fresno. It's kind of our big mantra out here. We're proud to help out everyone here, and of course, we are the kings of California.
I am loving this energy you guys have going on. What can we expect to see from you guys in the second half? Are you gonna pull it through? Because Modesto can't win the second half too. That's not how it works.
No, we are here to make the postseason. After last year, we're finishing with the best record and not winning either half and not getting into the postseason. I know not only from our coaching staff, but to our players, we want to get to the postseason. We have something to prove. And, just from the first couple of games here in the second half, our team has continued to show great promise. Our hitters are making quality at bats. Our pitchers are dominating. And that's something that we're going to take into the second half. Pitching wins championships. We are second in ERA in the California League. We're first in defense, and we're going to continue to ride those pitchers and our defense to get there. Our bat's going to come through, and of course, we're hoping to add a couple guys from this upcoming draft and continue to dominate here in the second half.
I am loving this energy, and I am loving what you guys are doing down there. Thank you so much for joining. Anything else that I forgot to ask you about that's going on in Fresno?
We have a lot of great promotions coming up at Suchon Park here in 2024 at the end of the season. Not only do we have 4th of July around the corner, we also have a lot of great events to help out our military and all the local heroes in the Central Valley. We want you guys to come celebrate at Suchon Park and come cheer on your Fresno Grizzlies as we push towards a California League championship.
I love this. Thank you so much, Stephen, for taking the time to join the pod. Best of luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you so much for having us, and go Grizzlies.
We are going to take a quick break, but first we want to talk about our friends at Indeed. We are driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a new candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. So Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with more than 350 million global visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. So you can join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And all listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. Just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. All right. And if you maybe need a getaway, maybe to Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino is going to be that place for you guys, because they're the home of Stadium Swim. You guys know about Stadium Swim at this point because everyone's making a fuss about it. It is an incredible pool experience at Circa. They have a 143-foot LED screen where you can watch all the sports 365 days a year, 6 pools, 2 spas, so many cabanas, swim-up bars, a super cabana, plus the resort has hundreds of rooms, so many different layouts, art from local artists, and we can even hook you up with a discount, guys. You can experience Stadium Swim and watch all your favorite teams at Circa Resort and Casino. Book your stay with code DNVR20 for 20% off. All right. Yeah, the interesting thing about the Fresno Grizzlies is that they have gone through so many affiliation changes and even level changes. So they have been going through growing pains over the past couple of years. Not pains, they're handling it very well. But it's interesting because they're a single A team that plays in a triple A ballpark. It's a big difference. But both the Grizzlies and the Spokane Indians as organizations have had to change so much with all the restructuring of all of the minor league affiliates. And this happened all across baseball, all across the country. But I think they're handling those changes well. And the other team, we mentioned the Spokane Indians. We're going to talk to Kyle Day, the GM, who has so much to say about everything going on in the beautiful state of Washington. Joining the pod now, we have Kyle Day, the general manager of the Spokane Indians. And Kyle, first of all, thank you so much for being here. But also, you guys are coming off a really fun first half of the season where you guys just clinched playoffs. How are you doing, and how's everyone doing up there?
Yeah, great. Yeah. First off, thanks for having me. Excited to be here. It's been a fun first half of the season. Yeah, it's been great on the field and off the field. The team clinched up in Vancouver, so we didn't get to see them celebrate, but we heard that they had a great time, and we were happy to welcome them back here to Spokane.
It's got to be so exciting. You guys have so much young talent, especially one guy who we are really dying to see up here in Colorado. We might have a little bit, but he's been spectacular. Chase Dollander, what has it been like watching him up there?
He's been great. And, in my role, I don't get to watch the entire game, but I see bits and pieces. But when Chase is on the mound, I always make sure to watch a little extra of the game because he's really exciting. He really has a commanding presence on the mound, it feels like. And it's nice to have those mature, strong pitchers on the mound at this level.
Yeah, it is. Is it kind of shocking to see someone so young have such a maturity?
It is. And one thing for us with the Spokane Indians prior to 2020, we were a short season team. So we rarely got guys the level of a Chase Dollander. And so it's been really fun over these last few years to see someone like that. And yeah, just the maturity, the presence, the command, the strength. It's been really fun to watch.
That's so funny. It really has not been that long since you guys were a short season team. How have you guys adjusted? How's the fan base adjusted? Because it's a lot more games. It's a huge difference.
It is. Yeah. We used to play 38 home games. Now we play 66 home games. So it's been a big difference. The biggest thing is the timing. So we used to start really right about now. Mid-June would be opening day for us as a short season team. And now we're first week of April. So that's been a little bit of an adjustment, both as a front office staff, but also for our fans of, hey, spring baseball in Spokane is a thing. It's here to stay. But I think people have been really happy with the product that the Rockies have put on the field here in Spokane.
That's great to hear. I have one last burning question. It's very juicy.
Okay.
What is Ribby like in real life?
Oh, glorious. You have to see the Ribby Shake in person to really get the full effect, but he is definitely a fan favorite. We actually, in a couple of weeks, we have Ribby bobblehead night coming up for the first time, and fans are clamoring for that. So it'll be great.
Yeah, I kind of am too now. Okay, I'll try to get up to Spokane for it.
Yeah.
But Kyle, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. One of these days I will get up to Spokane, but best of luck with the rest of the season.
Thanks so much. We'd love to have you, and maybe you can make it up for the playoff push, maybe the championship series here.
I would love to. We'll talk later, but thank you so much, Kyle.
Thanks, Suzie.
We are going to take a quick break. A break is a nice time to choose to chill. And when I choose to chill, guys, I'm going to choose Coors Light because that is a beer that is made to chill. And when the mountains turn blue, that's how you know it's as cold as the Rocky Mountains. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. So when you want to embrace a chill mindset, that's how you know it's a good time to choose chill and crack open a Coors Light for that cold mountain refreshment. Make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Maybe I'm going to choose to chill at the ballpark. Maybe when I get a good deal with Game Time, because Game Time is the place to get those last minute deals. You can save up to 60% when you buy last minute tickets, not just for Rockies games, but for all the sports, all the concerts, all the comedy shows. And we have all of that going on right here in Denver too. You're going to get the lowest price too. That's their guarantee. And if they can't give that to you, they will credit you 110% of the difference. I also love that you can get a panoramic view from your seat inside of the app before you buy it. And your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, create an account, redeem with code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Guys, I guarantee you're going to want to stick around for this interview. Okay. Because we've got Josh Suchon, friend of the show. It's been a while since he's been on, but they've had so many things going on down in AAA. So we're going to get the update. Here's Josh. We have Josh Suchon, friend of the show, but more importantly, the voice of the Albuquerque Isotopes. Josh, how are you doing?
Doing well, Suzie. Thank you for having me on once again. Unlike the major leagues, we get to start all over at the halfway point. So at the time of this recording, we are undefeated and in first place. Let's go, Topes.
I love this. Isn't it so weird? It really has not been that long since the minor league season has been split into first half, second half. Is it still kind of weird getting used to seeing a totally blank slate at the halfway point of the season?
Yeah. So single A and most of double A's have done this for a really, really long time. But this is only the second year that triple A has done this. Most recently, they've also did it way back in the day, like in the 70s and 80s off and on. They've kind of played around with this format. But, for the start of the second half, I was calling it opening night. I was calling it opening night 2.0. I thought about wearing a suit again because I do that on opening night, but then I realized it's super hot. So then I thought maybe I should just wear like one of those shorts suits. And then I decided just to wear a standard polo shirt. But it is really cool, though, when, let's face it, when you finish in last place, then all of a sudden you're like, nope, we're in a 10-way tie for first. Here we go. New season. That's fun.
Last place, but first place in attendance.
Yeah, our fans are amazing, and we are so grateful that they show up, and not just show up, but show up and make so much noise and cheer on the guys and just provide such a fun atmosphere. One of my favorite moments of the year actually was when Willie McIver was up, and Willie had struck out 4 times, and that was his 5th at bat, and he's down on the count 0-2, and it was like a blowout. The outcome was definitely known. And the fans just totally got behind him. Like, come on, Willie, you can do this. Like, get on base. And it built up the energy in the ballpark. He fouled off a bunch of pitches, ended up trying to walk. The fans that started it were so proud of themselves. They were like standing ovation. I remember talking to Willie about it the next day, and he said, our fans are so great. And he said he just appreciated it so much. And so I love the quantity of fans, but I love just how knowledgeable they are in the way they do stuff like that.
We love a knowledgeable fan. We just had a bunch of Dodgers fans up here at Coors Field, so a lot of them. Anyway, actually, speaking of Willie McIver, you guys have some good catchers going on down there, even in Hunter Goodman's absence, because we've been using him as a catcher up here. You got Willie McIver, you got Drew Romo. It's just feeling very #blessed in the catcher department right now.
Yeah, it's fun to be around them and to watch the way that they work together for pregame scouting meetings and different things like that. And, Hunter's been up with you guys in Denver for quite some while, but, I'll be honest, I wasn't sure what to expect about Hunter defensively, but especially this year, I was really impressed. And I thought this guy can catch like big time. And because we had 3, that meant McIver was sort of the odd man out and not getting a whole lot of playing time. And then once Hunter went up, now for the most part, Willie and Drew Romo, they alternate between catching and DH, especially lately. That's been the case. And both of them are contributing offensively. And, it's harder than ever to throw out runners these days because everything is stacked against the catchers. And so their percentages may not look great, but there's been a few times that they have definitely been a big part of wins. We had a game at Oklahoma City last week, and Drew Romo, he threw out 2 would-be base stealers, and there was 2 plays at the plate. And he was able to make a play when it was really close. So like a short hop, apply the tag. I remember asking him the next day, have you ever had a game like that? He said, I don't think I've ever thrown out 2 guys in one game, let alone had 2 at the plate and thrown out 2 would-be base stealers. So that was a really good day there for Drew.
I love when they surprise themselves. That's fun.
Yes.
All right. So obviously, you guys have a lot of guys down there that we see up and down a ton. But Sam Hilliard, who I know we've talked about a lot last time you were on the show, Sam Hilliard's back with the Rockies now, still the all-time home run leader of the Isotopes. But when you see a guy, especially like Sam Hilliard, come back up with the Rockies, I mean, how do you feel watching him do that?
Just super excited for him. Here's the thing about Sam. I've seen Sam for a lot of years now, right? I saw him in 2019 when he was the up-and-coming prospect. And then I saw him at what he has admitted is one of the lowest moments of his life was, from a baseball career standpoint, was 2021, when he was just really struggling. And then he goes off to Atlanta, he comes back. And I know he's told a lot of people that, it felt like it was home when he was back in the Rockies organization. To be around him when he became our all-time home run king and just to be around him on a regular basis, he's a guy who, I'll never forget this conversation. It was one of the first 2 weeks that he was with the Isotopes. And I said, I love the way you play. I love how hard you run out ground balls. And he said, when I was a kid, I never understood why players didn't run out ground balls. And I vowed that I would never be that guy, that I would always run out ground balls. And that's easy to say when you're an up-and-coming prospect and you're like 23 years old. But now he's been around for a while, right? He's pushing 30, maybe he is 30. I forget his exact age. And he still plays with the same energy all the time. He still runs out every ground ball. He played a really, really good defensive center field for us. And, usually batted second. And he's never going to be like the rah-rah guy. But I feel like his presence, just his professionalism, how he approached every game really rubbed off on everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, hey, when you see a guy hustling out there every day, you're going to look up to that. It's admirable. All right, I want to talk about some other guys who we've seen playing in Albuquerque. Riley Pint. Is Riley Pint so back?
Riley Pint had been on the injury list for a while, and then I believe it was some type of shoulder injury. And then Riley, he comes off the injured list, and it's the best that he's thrown. Now, it's only 3 outings, but it's the best that Riley has thrown that I've seen him in terms of just like working quickly, throwing a bunch of strikes, punching guys out just really quickly. And, Riley's just such a great person, and it was just fun to see him, number one, healthy and just pitching with such confidence over the last 3 outings.
That's got to be great to see too. I mean, also got to see Ryan Rollison back too. How great is that?
Yeah, exactly. It actually surprised me when I saw all the transactions that he'd been added to our roster. And I went in a very good way, like, oh yes, Ryan, I'm so happy. And then when I saw him in the clubhouse, I was so excited. My goodness, the quantity of injuries that guy's had. I've had my share of conversations with him over the last couple of years where he has just expressed such complete frustration. And, you can just tell that he just doesn't even know what to do, not even what to say. He's just so exasperated, frustrated, whatever word you want to use. And, credit to him that he's continued to work. And he made his debut with us this year over the weekend. It was just 1 inning. They're going to use him as a reliever, at least for now, which I think is probably smart. And we'll see what happens the rest of the year. But, yeah, hey, he's here. It's a former first-round pick. It's a former top pitching prospect in the organization. And he had a really good first outing, and we'll see what he can do from there.
Nice. All right. Anything else we should expect to see down there with the Isotopes in the second half of the season? Anything I forgot to ask you about?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so the thing about the second half is, I almost should ask you, who should I expect to see, right? Because you don't know. What I think is fun is that AA Hartford won the first half title and Single A Spokane won the first half title. And I keep waiting for okay, so who's going from Fresno to Spokane? Who's going from Spokane to Hartford? Who's going from Hartford to Albuquerque? And I haven't seen, at least not yet, I haven't seen a whole bunch of moves, but I'm sure that moves will be happening and things like that. Because a year ago, the Topes were last place of the first half. Second half, they got off to a great start. They had basically one bad week that cost them being able to go to the playoffs. And some of that was just players performing better. And some of that was we got some really good guys from AA. Guys like Hunter Goodman, for example, arrived around this time last year. So I'm hoping we can start to see some more guys like that. I think just the continuation of how the pitching, guys like Noah Davis and Carl Kaufman, who have been up and down between Albuquerque and Denver. And I feel like both of them have really turned a corner in terms of just how they're attacking guys. And look, it's really hard to pitch in this league, Suzie. And it's really hard when it's your second year in this league or when it's your third year in this league, like it is for Kaufman. And when you're just playing the same teams over and over and over again, it can just get really mentally, anguishing. But I feel like, those are two guys that have, I think they've really started to find some consistency in a league that's very difficult to be consistent.
Very, very difficult. We know that game all too well. Hey, one last thing before I let you go. Things are so different down there in terms of the way balls and strikes are being called, because you guys switched outright to the challenge system. How has that changed how you're doing things? Because it was split 3-3 on these 6-game series.
Yeah, previously the computer called balls and strikes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we used the challenge system Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now it's just the challenge system. And from all of the surveys that Major League Baseball conducted, players, staff, fans, they all like the challenge system better. I like it better. I like that there's a human element. I like that there's still an ability for a catcher to steal a strike. I like that there's also an ability for players to challenge if there is a really bad call. I like that we get to see which umpires are really good and which umpires are not so good. I think there's just a better flow to the game. I think that when the score's 12-1, the umpires should expand the strike zone a little bit more, and the computer's not going to do something like that. I still, one of the other problems I had with the computer, is it's a straight square. And I thought the edges should be round off a little bit more. And they might tinker with that in the future. But, it's fun. You get the answer within 5 seconds. The crowd gets into it. There's drama. Is it a ball? Is it a strike? What's going to happen? Candidly, the Isotopes are not very good at challenging. I was actually just adding this up before we recorded. They've only been right on 2 of their last 15 challenges, and they've only been correct on 38% of their challenges. So that's something they need to improve on. But I also just enjoy the strategy of when's the right time to challenge a call. The first inning, the first pitch is probably not the best time to challenge a call. And if you're down to 1 and it's the 6th inning, you better be right. Because if you lose your last challenge in the 6th inning, what are you doing? You might need that in the 9th inning. So I think it's a lot of interesting strategy, and part of sports, especially baseball, is strategy.
So, man, the catcher's job is getting even crazier.
Yes.
As if they didn't already have enough to do.
Yes. You have this PitchCom device, right? There's a pitch timer. You have to, there's bigger bases. More guys are running than ever before. And now, oh, by the way, you need to challenge calls if you think it's wrong.
There have been so many changes in baseball. I straight up forgot about the bigger bases. That wasn't even that long ago.
Right? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Josh, we are living in some interesting times, but thank you for always guiding us through them. And thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the show. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Suzie. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We are going to take one more quick break so we can have time to talk about our friends at Chinook Seedery. Guys, the biggest seeds on the market. And they've got all kinds of flavors that you're not going to find anywhere else. Original, lemon pepper, jalapeno ranch, Parmesan and pepper, cinnamon toast, dill pickle, hatch chili, smokehouse barbecue. You can get a sampler pack and try all 8 of them. And again, the largest seeds on the market. Head over to ChinookSeedery.com. Use code ROCKIES to get 20% off your order of the best seeds ever. Let's talk about our friends at Toyota, because y'all know Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR, the official truck too, maybe because trucks have always been a huge part of Toyota's DNA for generations. Toyota has been out there building durable legends destined for greatness and perfect for Colorado. Whether you're conquering off-road trails or hauling the weight of the world, there is a Toyota truck that is right for you. Like the all-new 2024 Tacoma. Maybe it's the 2024 Land Cruiser. They've got 17 models available, though, with all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, like the Epic 4Runner. They've also got more zero and low-emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. They are giving you so many choices to reduce your carbon footprint. Plus, those SUVs take command of the road and the trail so you can explore the road less traveled without sacrificing smooth city rides in SUVs like the RAV4 and the Grand Highlander. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, the official vehicle of the Colorado Rockies and the official vehicle of DNVR. Okay, so obviously since we talked to Josh, a lot has happened between the AAA and Major League level. Aaron Shunt got called up. Riley Pint, it turns out, is so back. Fun stuff. Very active week it's been in the Rockies cinematic universe. But we're going to do one last check-in with another friend of the show, Jeff Dooley, the voice of the Yard Goats. Obviously, I'm very yard goated out for the occasion. Why wouldn't I be?
Some might say you're goated.
I'm so goated right now. We're all a little more goated when we get to talk to Jeff Dooley. But here's what is going on at the AA level. Joining the pod now, we have the voice of the Hartford Yard Goats, Jeff Dooley. Jeff, how are you doing out there in Hartford right now?
Doing well, Suzie. Always great talking with you.
Likewise, my friend. Speaking of friends, I have to show you what I found online. I hope it shows up on my camera. Can you tell who this is? It's a Warren Schaefer Tulsa Drillers card.
Schaefer!
He does not look like this anymore.
I love that.
He somehow looks younger now, I think, than he did as a minor leaguer. It's kind of wild.
You've got to get that autograph, Suzie. That's pretty impressive.
We are not allowed to ask for autographs.
I'll tell you what.
I will get my credentials taken away.
You, okay?
It's okay. But yeah, we have so many great mutual friends that we all used to know here in Hartford. How cool is it though? I know you were like the guy who has the tally of people who have been called up from the Yard Goats, and we'll talk about Adael Amador in just a second. But do you include Schaefer with an asterisk in your account of people who got called up from the Yard Goats?
And Ron Gideon too. Giddy was
right.
2016 team, right? So I think we should add those two on there. But to answer the question, no, we don't have a running tally of the coaches, but we probably should, or executives too that have bumped up, to the major league side. But we're certainly proud of our group. It's amazing, Susie. 60 Yard Goats now since 2016. That's unbelievable.
Congratulations to Hartford. This is great. And of course, we just saw one of them very recently. Adael Amador called up right from AA, which we don't get to see a lot. And he must have been so fun to watch before we stole him from you guys.
Yeah, he was really good. He was, he was starting to figure it out at the plate. His average, I think, wasn't as good as they had hoped to start. But one thing he was doing, he was getting on base. He was leading the league in walks. And he was an absolute threat to steal. He was leading the league in stolen bases, too, when he left. So he would, really, in terms of like a good eye for the strike zone, I thought he was well beyond his years, just being, 21 years old and actually just turned 21 at the beginning of the season. So he certainly has a lot of tools, and it was just really cool to watch him go up there and not only, be with the Rockies, but to play and contribute. And it was so fun to watch that first hit, major league hit with his first swing, and then he goes on to steal second base, and you couldn't wipe that wide smile off his face. It was really cool. He's a great kid, and, we're certainly rooting for him for sure.
Oh my gosh. And I also, Angel Chivi came up right from AA twice and actually debuted the second time. We've had a lot of it this season. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, he was up there for an emergency situation and, didn't get to play in that weekend in Pittsburgh. But when he went up a second time, he did. And, he's been really, really good. The back end of the Goats bullpen is really impressive with him and Jaden Hill and Seth Halverson's closing games now. They've done a really good job. I think they've given up before yesterday. I think it was 3 earned runs in the previous 40 innings, which is covering 11 games to finish the year. So they've got some guys that can, they can throw hard, but more than anything can get outs. And Chibi is one of those guys. So he's certainly someone I know that opened some eyes when he pitched in Major League camp and spring training. And I know they kind of liked what he did when he went up there. And when he's ready, I'm sure he'll be back again.
Definitely. So much has been happening up here in Denver. I would not be surprised to see anyone up here as early as tomorrow. But anyway, speaking of guys that we got some looks at in spring training, Carson Palmquist has been incredible for you guys. What have you seen from him this season so far?
Well, he got off to a really good start. He's by far one of the best pitchers in the league this season. He had kind of a tough month of June. But really, it still went into yesterday's game with a top 10 earned run average in the league. But he's got that deception that you saw Suzie in spring training. I mean, the ball does it. The scouts say it kind of behaves differently when it leaves his hand, and that's the way to do it. I mean, he's not going to blow you away with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball like some other starters, but he knows how to pitch. He knows how to get guys out, and he's got that deception. Little bit of a funky delivery from the left side, and the ball moves a lot. What I like to look at, to see and evaluate is swings and misses with good players. And when he's facing, a good lineup, like Portland's got a good lineup with the Red Sox number 1, 2, and 3 offensive prospects, and he goes through them like nothing, I mean, then you know that the kid's pretty good. So, he's got a chance. He's still developing, but he's got a chance to certainly get up there at some point.
I love that. Okay, I need to talk about, you guys have faced so many crazy rehab assignments, major league rehab assignments, and maybe humbled some Major League Baseball players. What's been going on out there in Hartford?
Well, Garrett Cole, you're right, Susie. For the Goats to get to the playoffs, they had to win a couple of series down the stretch, but that included facing Garrett Cole, who won the Cy Young last year, and then Josiah Gray, who was a National League All-Star with the Washington Nationals just last year, both in Major League rehabs. And Hartford won 2 of those 3 games. They didn't beat the 2 pitchers, but they went to work on the bullpen when those guys came out of the game. But, yeah, Garrett Cole, I mean, he was really good. His stuff was sharp. But Ryan Ritter, who's a gigantic, Rockies prospect, he took him deep, hit a home run left field off him. And And then the Goats, they I thought had some really good at bats against Josiah Gray in Harrisburg last week. So it's fun. It's almost like it's a win-win situation for the Yard Goats players, right? Because if Garrett Cole strikes you out, well, guess what? It's Garrett Cole, right? He strikes everybody out. But if you're Ryan Ritter and you hit the solo home run over the left field fence, then you can say, you know what, I went deep against the Cy Young Award winner. So it's kind of a win-win. We faced a ton, I think, the last couple of years of not only major league experienced players on rehabs, but guys that have been major league all-stars. And the guys always get really juiced up for that, knowing they're going up against the guy that, he's done at that top level.
Yeah, that's incredible. Did I hear that Braden Ward, friend of our show, also got a knock off of Garrett Cole?
Yeah, he got a hit. Yep. And he's just been unbelievable. He got off to a great start in the Northwest League at Spokane, and he came up to Hartford. And that's, we had obviously a couple of spots with Zach Veen, unfortunately, going down with an injury, and Benny Montgomery went down with an injury, and a spot opened up for Ward, and he came up. And generally speaking, it's a transition period. When you go from high A to double A, guys struggle. I mean, you can ask Jordan Beck, the struggles that he went through last year. And I mean, you name the guy but boy, he has been, I put him up there with anybody that's made that transition almost flawless. I mean, he's been really, really good. He's a gamer. I love to watch him play. He sacrifices his body diving for balls. He'll get to first base. He'll steal second. He'll get a double. He'll steal third. I mean, he really puts the pressure on the defense. I love those guys that are kind of under the radar. You're not going to read much about him being a top prospect in baseball, but I tell you what, he's someone that I want on my team for sure.
I love to hear that. That is absolutely great to hear. Yeah, a lot's been going on, a lot of transactions. It's so unfortunate to see, Benny Montgomery and Zach Veen on the IL right now. I think just Rockies fans in general, very disappointed to hear about those two guys who really should be playing at least with the Yard Goats right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you have to look at the big picture, right? I mean, they're both really young players. I know Zach Veen he'd been in Double A the last couple of years, and he was really putting up good numbers. He's the best offensive display that I've seen him since he's been here. And I know he had a really good spring training as well. So it's just unfortunate that he went down with an injury. And then Benny Montgomery, he was diving for a ball in Somerset, New Jersey, and went after a ball and tried to make a diving catch, and unfortunately hurt his shoulder. So he went down, but it's kind of part of the game. I mean, you go through that, you see injuries at the major league level, and you see them at the minor league level, and every other team in the league is dealing with this as well. So you just have to kind of think big picture. And I know Rocky fans want to see Montgomery and they want to see Veen in the big leagues at some point. And that just have to be patient. They'll get there at some point.
At some point. Hey, it was about time that the Yard Goats clinched the first half of the season. How exciting is it to know that these guys are going to the postseason?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it was a hard road. They had to win the last two series. They had to take care of business against two teams trying to get into the opposite division, the Southwest Division. Akron, which is the Cleveland Guardians affiliate, as you know, they won 4-6 at home. Then they go to Harrisburg, the top pitching team in the league, and they ended up winning 4 of 6 games. And Harrisburg went in first place. And they first they knocked Akron out of first place, then they knocked Harrisburg out of first place, and Erie ended up winning the Southern Division Championship, in Southwest Division Championship. So the Goats not only got to the playoffs, they also were spoilers in the opposite division. But it's really been a fun team. Ryan Ritter had a really good start. Zach Kokoska got off to a really good start as well. Sterling Thompson, a former number 1 pick, hit a huge home run last homestand. So they've got some guys that, that are coming. They put together some solid seasons. Mentioned the starting pitching. Andrew Cazado was great along with Palmquist in the first half. And the bullpen has been spectacular. I think it took some lumps early on, but some of the guys like Chavihi, Juan Mejia, Halverson, they're really good. I think Hartford in the first half was 25-1 when leading after 7 innings. Like, think about that for us. 25-1 leading after 7. That's pretty impressive. I think that's got to be a franchise record.
Man, we need some of that energy up here in Colorado because we have lost some games in the 9th inning recently that have been brutal. So it's great to see that you guys are just taking those leads and keeping them. I love this for the Yard Goats.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's a little bit different. We're not, we know it's Major League Baseball, a little bit different than Eastern League Baseball. But no, they've got some guys, and the guys are coming. I mean, they're developing. We're seeing improvement. And one thing, Bobby Meacham, our first year manager, and he's just so great the way he teaches, and he gets out there, and when it's game time, he manages. But he said, one thing we want to do is we don't just want to get to the players to the major leagues. We want to build championship players for the Colorado Rockies, and that starts in Hartford. And it's important that these guys learn how to win here together. And hopefully that has the gradual effect when they graduate to AAA and then eventually to Denver, they've got a chance to win games up there. So that's what it's about. So, they certainly have taken that first step in winning and clinching a playoff spot. And it was just so fun because it's almost like a total team effort. I think of the top 6 offensive categories, I think we had 5 of the 6 categories, I think, were 5 different players, which is amazing because usually you'll have one player that's, up there really carrying like 3 or 4 categories. It's really spread out. And it was really the same with the pitching as well, Suzie. So they've really, you talk about a balanced team. That's what we saw in Hartford really in the first half, which was great.
That is so cool. Also, by the way, Bobby Meacham, I got a chance to talk to him when he was with Albuquerque last season. His experience, his stories, he's just such a fascinating person.
Well, he was the major league manager, major league bench coach, a couple of years ago in 2022, as you know, with Philadelphia, with Joe Girardi was on that staff. He managed the major leagues with the Marlins, with the Yankees and the Phillies. And he really wants to manage. So to have him, manage our team this year, I think was really good. And he just knows kind of what it takes to get to the major leagues. And it's been a fun ride. But he was cracking the champagne the other night saying, guys, you are champions. It was a cool moment in Harrisburg when they clinched.
I love that. That is amazing to hear. Jeff Dooley, thank you so much for joining the show. I'm so glad we could catch up about the incredible first half you guys just had. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys do the rest of the season.
Thank you, Suzie. Always a pleasure catching up with you. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you. I guess add one more to that count that Jeff Dooley has of the guys who were Yard Goats and are now Major League Baseball players because Aaron Shunt got called up. Yeah. Fun. Always a fun time checking in with Dooley and Suchon and Rice and Day. Oh my gosh. We just had like a great lineup of interviews today. So thank you guys for being here though. Yeah. Thank you for being here too. I hope you had fun.
I always have fun on these shows.
That's good. I paid him to say that.
Not enough to say it again though.
Guys, this was fun. This show is going to be back on Tuesday. We'll talk about the Royal Series. We'll get into that start of the Red Series coming up. It's going to be an interesting weekend, interesting week, and we're almost at the All-Star break too, so let's go. And let's wrap this show up. Yeah, where can we follow you on social media?
DNVR Rapids is my favorite place to follow me, so just go there. I almost said Rockies.
Well said. Well said.
Didn't say much, but I said it.
Guys, you can follow me at the Suzie Hunter on all platforms. Keep up with everything we have to say as a company at DNVR_Rockies. And you know what I love to say, about closing out a show like this one?
What do you like to say, Suze?
I say, that's baseball. That's the show. We'll talk to you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
We all silly like the mayor.